Especially I feel at home because I know the people who preceded me in this program. The chairman, Felipe de Leon, is the son of my father-in-law's one of the close friends, and later on I will tell you a little anecdote about that. And then Melly, I'm overwhelmed by your introduction. You did such research. She's a dear friend of mine and my neighbor in San Pedro. And really and truly, and beside her is an old friend and neighbor also, Benedictine Legarda, who happens to be the Ninong of Kokoy, my son. Benedictine and his mother, the Matrining Legarda, was the one who launched me into theater by making me work with Sonia Riskin in Bernarda Alba, La Casa de Bernarda Alba. So I feel at home, and there's Baby Rosa, who is the goddaughter of my father-in-law, whose book here, whose quotation we are going to take up today. It's a great privilege to have you in the audience as we launch these two books. I have two cousins here, nephews, who are descendants of the eldest son of Domingo Franco. He is Nonong Franco and Manuel Quiogue III. No? He is the nephew of Precious Farben, and his father was the brother of Precious, right? And that is the descendants of Hernando. Maybe I should at this point ask all the descendants of Domingo Franco to please stand up and acknowledge. Yes. My children are not in the audience, so they cannot stand up. And there. That's my brother Julio Diaz. We're just the two survivors in our family. So, let me talk about my book. The first book is a book about my grandfather, Domingo Franco, who is really not remembered in the history book. And so that it's what drove me into researching about his life. Because to me, he really dedicated his life, gave it up for a principle, for freedom of our country. And yet, because he was lumped into a group of ilustrados who were executed with him, there were 13 in all, he was just remembered as one of the 13 martyrs of Bagong Bayan. And so this group completely lost their identity, lost the fact that they had given up their lives, they had suffered a lot of punishment for the freedom of our country, and yet it's very little is said of them in our history books. And so I took it upon myself to not only talk about my grandfather, but I also put a part of my book. I wrote little thumbnail biographies, yes, about the 12 others who died with him. They were all what we would call in those days ilustrados, and mistakenly taken for what do you call for rebels, and so they were rounded up and put in Fort Santiago, where they suffered a lot of punishment, torture, and after that to be executed in the Luneta, what Bagong Bayan at that time was called. My grandfather is an inspiration to me. My mother used to talk to me about him, but I didn't realize how much he had suffered until I researched and looked through the books and found out that he was very important during the propaganda movement, because he was then president of La Liga Filipina, and not only that, he worked with Mabini and Del Pilar, and he was, let's say, he was the one who solicited funds for the Solidaridad. And for that reason, he was marked as a rebelde, or insurrecto. Yeah, that's a term. And my second book came to be because I had to make a speech about my father-in-law in one of the commencement exercises when Doy first became vice president. I was invited to the Jose P. Laurel High School to give a commencement speech. And so I told Doy, what can I say about your father? Because I'm sure these children who go to the school, they don't even know who Jose P. Laurel is. And so he said, oh, you can read his books. And so what book should I read first? I said, Bread and Freedom. But there was no Bread and Freedom available. So mysteriously, I had set up my electric, at that time there was no computer, my electric typewriter in a place where only Doy, the maid, and I usually go, and this was my dressing table in our bathroom. I put it up because I said I will take notes tomorrow. So the next morning I woke up and I went to my typewriter and I saw a book of my father-in-law there, the political and the moral orientation, I believe it was. So I thanked Doy. I said, thank you for the book. He said, what book? I said, the book of Papa that I was asking you for. I didn't give you any book. So I said, well, the only one that entered that room was the maid. So I told the maid, saan mo nahanap itong libro? She said, I didn't put it there. So there's the mystery. And that has happened so many times, you know, to me. It inspired me also to publish a book of his articles called Days of Our Years. Because, now, let me tell you about Days of Our Years, which we're not launching, but I'm giving away to the schools. I was really interested in his book, so I read and found articles that are worth keeping for the future, you know, like the quotes. They are articles that were written by him from many books. And when I finished, of course, I needed to have it published. I just went on gathering the articles without even thinking how I'm going to finance the book. So I asked a friend of ours, Garcia then, could he estimate how much the book would cost? I wanted it to be of international quality, with colored photo cover. And he said 200,000 pesos. So I said, now I have to start my fundraising campaign to finance this book. And a group of Japanese scholars came. They went to the office of Doy and said they wanted to help. They wanted to help him in his projects. And Doy directed them to me. My wife was the one with all these projects, interviewer. And so I said, well, I'm helping the disabled, which I am disabled today. And then they said, no, we're not interested. And until I said, I have gathered some articles about Jose P. Laurel, thoughts. And they said, that's the one we want. It's $10,000 enough. $10,000 at that time was exactly 200,000 pesos. So you see, there's some mystery, inspirations that I have. And so I did publish the book, and the Japanese translated it into Japanese, and it was launched in the Congress in Turkey. But coming back to my book of thoughts, ang ginintong ikaisipan, very difficult, no? Ni Jose P. Laurel. Actually, it was the original title of the first book was the original English text that my father-in-law wrote. I gathered it from 5 of his books. I gleaned what would be proper to give to our future generations to inspire them to follow. And it was thoughts of quotes of Jose P. Laurel. But I also thought that it would reach further if it were in Filipino. And so I called my dear friend Danny Dolor, and I said, Danny, do you think you can get somebody to translate them into Filipino so we can have it reach the people, working people, the students and all that, because they are such precious thoughts and they have to be embedded in their hearts. And so Danny did give me translation, and recently Jolad Santos of the Weekend Pambansa also gave me some of the translation. And there we are. So I put the two books together, so it will not choose the audience whether they speak Filipino or English. I have the first part in Filipino and the second part in English. And it is my dearest hope that with these two books, the generations to come will be uplifted. That if these words of Jose P. Laurel, expressed with love of country in his heart, burning, that they too might be contaminated, that they will grow up to love this country as he did, that they will grow up to be a generation of citizens who are truly concerned and love their country. And that is why it is a wish that I had, and the NCCA had my wish come true today. I hope that you will read the book and that you will hand it down to your apos and all that, so that we will see a new Filipino citizenry, loving the country the way our ancestors did love the country, the way they died for the country. I think at the moment, if the occasion called for it, I doubt whether there will be too many people who will die for their country and suffer for the country, as Domingo Franco, Papa Laurel, and all. So thank you for today, and thank you with all my heart. I would like to call on, just to sample the book, I asked Jolad to read one Tagalog and Filipino stanza or two, and then my granddaughter who sang Ugoy, who is Nicole, she'll read the English translation. Rather, she'll read the English and then Jolad will read Filipino. Nicole, okay, let me turn around. Thank you.